change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Time's gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One train over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been.
Oh, good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt my Rich Chop Rambler singing this in this morning. Yeah, this is for faith. What's going on, guys? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is One Street Over. Now, you know that the Ebenezer Broadcasting is a worldwide Christian broadcast company. And we get Jesus on you every day. We're going to get a little Jesus on you every day. But this is the show from 7 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, where we want to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on to serve the public interest, because we do have an FCC license we have to comply with. So we talk about all those things 7 to 8 a.m. But on Friday, we really try to kind of hone in on our faith. But what could be more positive when it comes to our faith and keeping us where we need to be centered spiritually than staying positive. And so that's why I talked to Chris, and we were talking about, he's only off on Friday. So we were trying to get a reoccurring time for him to come in. We have Rachel that comes in on the second Wednesday. And we love what StayPositive.news is doing, and they're getting more and more popular. And I have to say, it's been key to my staying positive and looking for the positive things in the world has been key to my spiritual development in the last 5 years. Yeah. Hands down. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's a thing we can do more than when it comes to our Faith Friday segment than just to talk about the positive things in the world. What say you?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Sarah and Chris. Sarah Ricciardi?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Beautiful.
Chris Villines in the house, and they're both with StayPositive.news. You're the new, give me your title.
So creative director.
You're going to need to pull that microphone right to you. See how
right to me?
Yeah.
Like I'm kissing
right on it.
Like I'm kissing
There you
it.
go.
Okay.
So what is your title?
Creative director.
And you just joined.
I've been writing for Stay Positive
Okay.
for a year, and then
Okay.
I just joined as the creative director. So I get to work with our writers and assign articles and
Fun.
work with sponsors. Yeah, it's a lot of
Hey,
fun.
this is it's growing. You just had your 1 year anniversary,
We did.
and it's so fun. And Chris, you're one of the contributing writers.
Yes.
You have a day job.
I have a day job with Tractor Supply, but I'm a writer and editor. So I get to look over this great, and she's a fantastic writer. And the other writers too they're all great, and I get to look
are as
over
well.
and I try. Every time a blind squirrel finds an acorn, but
so
I love it. I mean, it's just. You feel good about what you're reading. You feel good about what you're writing. You feel good about the people you're talking to. It's just it's a feel good all the way around.
Yeah, it's positive. It's positive influence. And and that's what's so interesting is there's so many wonderful stories out there. And I had somebody call me the other day because I have, I've got a political background and my background in radio was always news talk. I've, had the privilege of working in Nashville for 28 years, and you would think I got to meet all the country artists. No, that's Devin. Devin got to do that. Devin and I got to do that. So we kind of about the same age and kind of worked alongside each other, but she was at SIX and SN, and all the country stations, so she knows everybody. That's another one you could interview.
Devin, oh yeah.
Fascinating. But anyway, but I was news talk. And so people will still call me and ask my political opinion. I'm like, I checked out. Not that I've checked out, because I care about my country, and I will always be good stewards of my vote and what God has made me responsible for. But the things that I'm not responsible for, I give to the Lord. And I don't dwell on it. I don't watch it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I pray about my vote. I always vote. But I just, I just try to do the best I can,
Yeah.
and I just turned it all off, and that changes you.
Ooh.
Man, I'm telling you, it just changes your spirit when you're not just flooding yourself with all this negativity.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I tell my students, I'm a high school teacher, and I tell my students, I said, the one thing you're not going to get in my classroom is the sky is falling, the sky is falling. The sky's the limit, man. You're living in a time that you can do anything you want.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, we kind of left you a little bit of a mess, more than a little bit of a mess.
A train wreck.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? There's been bigger train wrecks that's been put back on the rails.
Yep.
And I believe with all my heart. And again, the sky's the limit.
Yes.
I was talking to one of my students yesterday about the way the changes. Just I'm trying to keep up with things to teach my kids in audio video. It changes like this.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, stay positive.
Yeah.
Follow staypositive.news. You're going to get positive stories. You're going to get things that will uplift you rather than go, don't start your day like that.
Right. No.
So,
The formula for stress when you start your day with all the negative, right?
Yes.
And so
Yep.
you want to combat it. And the awesome, beautiful thing too that I love, and I think Chris loves too, is every positive story. It's not Pollyanna-ish, right?
right.
It's real, it's authentic, and a lot of times it comes from something that is negative originally, but then guess what God does, right? He turns it around to something beautiful, and it
Yep.
becomes a story that empowers. So
Absolutely.
that's where we're-
Absolutely. And I've just got to thank you again for doing the story on Mark and I going
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the teaching.
Oh yeah.
Because that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We had to shut down our business of 20 years because my husband developed a heart problem, which is stable now, all that kind of stuff. And he had some hip and joint issues, was crippled for a year. I mean, we didn't get into all that in the story.
Right.
There was a lot of adversity that led us to where we are.
Yeah.
But my goodness, God just recreated us
Yeah.
beautifully. And it's just been, we're having so much fun. I mean, we're so
I think you
excited.
are. I think you are.
We are
Yeah.
having an absolute blast. I'm excited about the school year. I had one of my students in here yesterday, and I'm like, we're only 5. We're just, well, really, I mean, we're 5 weeks from school starting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 weeks.
It's just 5
5
weeks.
weeks. 5 weeks.
It just let out.
My girls are like, no.
Yeah. I mean, just in a minute. And so, and they're like, stop it. Well, Brian Pulley was in here yesterday with the United Way. Stop it.
Well,
Stop it. But it's just, I'm excited.
my wife just finished. She taught summer school, so
Yeah.
she just
Oh,
finished.
yeah.
She did 4 weeks of summer school, and then she gets her little
She's
break,
now got a little break.
and then she goes right back.
Yeah.
But she loves it. She wouldn't do anything else.
I do too. I adore it. I just absolutely love it, and can't recommend it enough, guys. If it's something that I gave him another suggestion for somebody that's teaching that came out of a that was we talked to Dr. Eric Wilson, that was a firefighter, retired from that. The way God navigated those waters, it's a fascinating story to get him to Tribeca, and now he's teaching in high school. I was like, you need to come to Greenbrier, man. We've got Dr. Eric Wilson, who was a professor at Tribeca, who's now teaching our music.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
And Katie Osborne.
Well, I know, yeah.
Katie's fantastic.
Dr. Osborne. And I mean, that's the thing. If you think you need to come to Greenbrier, we got some awesome stuff going on, guys. But anyway, so what kind of stories have you written? Tell me some of the stories that you have done.
One of I think it was an early one. It's one of my favorites still, is a grandmother who turned to ballet. And really what that came from, she was a teacher in the public schools, and she tried to break up a fight. And she's a tiny lady. So she became crippled as a result, and she was told she'd never walk again. And then look,
I'll
she's
show
not
you.
only walking, but she's dancing and setting such an example. Beautiful, beautiful story. Beautiful woman.
I love it when people just like, don't tell me what I can't do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
tell me what I can't do.
Yes.
And that's amazing. How cool! I'll have to go dig that one. When
Yes.
did you write that?
Oh, it's been
Probably a year.
a year.
Okay, well, I'll go
yeah.
back and look for
Yeah.
that one in the archives,
love
because
it.
I can.
Yeah.
All that stuff's archived. I can
It
go look
is.
at it. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is very cool.
That makes me think of one of my first stories too. Doesn't it? But talking about people who say, "Don't tell me what I can't do." This young man goes, he's not young. Well, I call him young man because he's younger than me. But Terrell Jones is his name, and Terrell's been blind from birth. Terrell goes to church with me. But he has the most can-do attitude of anybody I've ever met in my life. It's not, he doesn't look at his blindness as woe is me, what can I do? It's like, what can I do? And here's what I am doing. And He works full time for Goodwill Industries and is a valuable part of their company. And so I did a story on Terrell, and it was one of the first ones I did. And in fact, he called me and left a voicemail the other day complimenting me on the article I wrote on you. So he goes, "I love you, Turner LaVern." I've heard that, because that's his.
Sweet.
He said, "I've heard that voice for years."
I would love to meet him sometime.
He'd be good.
Where do you go to church?
I go to
Remind me again.
Mount Pleasant United Methodist Church, just a small country church there.
All right.
There at you're at the crossroads there, going toward White House. There's the junk shop, I call it, on the right, and the old used to be country store on the left. Take a right on Newhall Road and come visit us.
I would love to just stop in and say hi to him. What a sweet thing to say. God bless him. I mean, 'cause I haven't done traffic since 2012, y'all. It's been a minute. It's been a minute,
He has a memory that you would not
that's
believe,
crazy. Yeah.
and a computer knowledge like you
Wow.
would not believe.
Isn't that cool?
I mean, he is just a fascinating, smart. He's the definition of stay positive.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. But see, that's what this is about, guys. And again, what's more spiritual than we're in a time that anxiety is through the roof. Well, the reason why is because it's what our media is feeding us, man. I look at, I've been, dealing with this knee replacement. And so I've had, my doctor just absolutely forced me to sit down on my, and it's like, don't be up more than 10 minutes per hour for the first 2 weeks, LaVern. Oh, that's terrible for somebody like me.
Yeah.
I got so restless. And what do? You're sitting there trying to find something to look at on, media.
Oh yeah.
The stuff, just the horror stories, and I talk to my students. They're like, what's your favorite type of movie genre? Oh, I love horror flicks. I'm like, ugh.
No.
Bring that darkness into your soul.
No.
Man.
Can't do it.
Man, I don't get it. I don't. They don't understand it's poison. It is absolute poison.
Well.
And there's just so much of it out there.
Yes.
And I love just good. I love dry bar comedy. God bless y'all for bringing us clean comedians again. Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen. Is it a show or?
Well, no, it's an app.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's. I want to say the guys who put on the people who first financed The Chosen, Angel Studios, I think, are behind Dry Bar, and they will not put you on their media unless you are clean.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, I love it.
And so I love comedy, and I had to turn it off because I couldn't. I don't like foul language.
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 comedians. I really like them. There's this one guy, and I'm not even going to tell you who it is because I don't want you to go look at him because he's got a light in him. You can tell, but he was never brought up in faith.
Oh.
He's got a light to him because his language and something. I just had to turn him off, but he's got something there.
Yeah.
And you want, man, I'd love to get a hold of you and share Jesus with you.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things that you can't be on there unless you are clean. Leanne Morgan, who's local,
Oh yeah.
that has been a great comedian for 30 years.
Yeah.
Her career, I think, now I'd have to, we'd have to ask her to know, but I think Dry Bar relaunched her
Really?
because she was on Dry Bar and she started getting hits, and then she got a Netflix show. They put her on Netflix, and now she's going to do I think they're doing a sitcom with her.
They are.
I mean, she's huge.
She's in a movie.
She's in a movie.
Will Ferrell.
with and Reese Witherspoon.
Witherspoon.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think Dry Bar has relaunched her. And then, and I don't know if it had anything to do, I don't think Nate Bargatze, I think he did that on his own. Nate Bargatze is the guy out of Old Hickory that's just hysterical.
He is funny.
Yes.
He is the
We love
Tennessee
him.
kid
Yeah.
from Old Hickory. I would love to meet him. He's
Yes.
adorable.
Yeah.
And he was raised in a Christian household. Went
Sure
to
was.
Davis. I think he went to Davis.
I want to say DCA.
I think he did.
Yeah.
And so he was raised in a Christian house, and one of his jokes is, "Well, I can't do this. My mom and dad get mad."
Well, his dad, Steve Bargatze, I don't know if he still goes, but he used to be called the Christian Magician.
Yeah.
And he came.
Okay.
He came to one of our old revivals that we had at church,
Fun.
and he was fast. I mean, he was great.
They say he's wonderful.
He's
I've never
great.
seen him. But and he started out as a clown.
Yeah.
If you've not checked out Nate Bargatze, man, you need to go
yes.
check him out. But he I think he did that on his own. That was just a conviction that he's just like, I'm just not going to be dirty because I want my daughter to be able to hear what I say.
Yeah.
You know, those kinds of things. And he talks a little bit about some of his early days in comedy that he wasn't maybe awesome.
Right.
You know, I mean, we all have those. I talk about those things too because I wasn't always, you know, what I needed to be. But
I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do like a amateur night or something, comedy, clean comedy.
I did it one time. We had a thing at our church, and I said, I'm gonna do 30 minutes of just stand up to see if I think I could do it.
No.
They said it was. I mean, I just did a speech that was funny,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what it was. But I was like, this is hard,
Yeah.
you know, and I just it wasn't my thing. You know when you've got your niche, and that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And I'm a pulpit preacher, y'all. God help me. My daddy's going, you go, girl. He didn't know it when he was here, but he's up there going, he's in my cloud of witness going, wow, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, I'm sorry. All my CFC brethren are going, LaVern. They don't know what to do with me. Anyway, a lot of theological insides there. Unless you've been brought up in the CFC, you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we are talking with Sarah Ricciardi.
Yeah.
Chris Villines, and they are with StayPositive.news. And what could be more positive on a Faith Friday than just feeding your spirit with positive news? Follow them and find them on Facebook. If you're somebody that wants to write, and you have that, you are always looking for contributors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we are.
Did you get with them from the very get-go, from the very start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris and I both, right? We
Yeah.
were both with them from the start because we were excited we love sharing stories. And I was a journalism major back in the day. And then I switched to English because I realized I didn't want to sensationalize stuff. And at the university I was at, that's what they wanted me to do. And so I get to share stories. We get to share stories, but we get to shine the light, like we said, on the positive.
I love it.
Always, and authentic and local community. So you're getting to know about your community, right? Robertson and Sumner counties, but you're not having to turn on the news, you know, to do it, the traditional news, which I can't go there myself.
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I have to skip to the weather. I have to watch the weather.
Yeah.
I got
You got an app for that now. You don't even have to do that. We got Bill Jones here in Robertson County, man. Just follow Bill.
Well, I like Bill.
I love Bill Jones.
Yeah. I like Bree on Channel 5. She's a good weather person. She's a positive person.
Yeah.
Nikki D in the morning on Channel 5.
I love Leland.
Oh, Leland. Oh, gosh, yes.
I've known Leland. I don't know if he even remembers me, but we used to bump into each other at remotes back in the day when I would be there for radio and he'd be there for TV. And he's just the sweetest man.
Yeah.
You just could not ask for a nicer person.
Yeah.
Love Nick Barris. I used to sit next to Nick at the Titans games.
Oh, did you?
For about 10 years, you know. And so got to know Nick pretty well. Haven't talked to him in many, many years, but genuine people. Those two, I can tell you right now. Vicky Yates, of course, she's not there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Genuine people. I don't know any of them anymore, though. But we've got some really good ones locally. We really do. We have some really strong people. But I just don't want to. I used to turn on 99.7 first thing in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I love Brian Wilson. Just love him to pieces. And I would listen to him first thing in the morning, and it would just depress the heck out of me. And I had my sweet friend Shannon Baumgartner that came in here one day just to be bopping in, and I knew she had to be, you know, because we were same way politically and all that. And I said, "How are you just staying so upbeat?" And I said, "I'm so depressed." And she goes, "Well, I don't know. I just guess I get up every morning and give God my first fruits." I told you this, and I'll just give him my first fruits, whether that be a moment of silence, be a prayer, spiritual music, listen to scripture, something to just connect me with him. And then the rest of the day just goes fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't go perfect, but I just seem to be able to cope with it. The very next morning, instead of turning on 99.7, I'm sorry, guys, I haven't turned it back on since. I turned it off and I started turning on. I don't know if I think I was listening to, something by, like the Behind the Witch in the Wardrobe. I was listening to, I'm going blank on the author.
C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis. I was just like, I was listening to something from C.S. Lewis. And I think I had that on. And so I started listening to that. Yeah. And then I was, music. And you can't believe, it's like a switch went off.
Yeah.
And now all I listen to, people know I'm the biggest theology podcast nerd. I had a friend back in Mayfield that messaged, somebody give me some recommendations for a podcast. And I'm like, oh, the Bama podcast with Marty Solomon. And it's like great theology. And she was wanting like murder mystery. I wasn't in the right world. And I was like, but this is good. It'll change you. But I don't think, she was like, who are you, LaVern? I don't know who you are anymore. But it just completely changed me. And I give Shannon credit for turning that switch, man. She just kind of, you know how you can speak a word to somebody at just the right time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And that's what came to me that time. And it was just at the right time. And I think that's too with the things that you guys share in StayPositive.news. It may be just the thing that somebody needs that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than turn it on, go to StayPositive.news, see what's up. See what Miss Mabel has to say.
I know.
I love Miss Mabel.
She'll make you laugh every time.
That comes out on Monday, right? Monday usually Miss Mabel.
It
varies.
Yeah, it varies, but we like to do it Mondays.
But
Yeah.
well, what are you working on? What story are you working on right now?
I'm working on right now, if I can ever get it pulled together. I still have to, well, I've done the transcribing on it, but a young lady named Rain Erickson who went to Springfield High School, and she was, I think, the first ever female athlete at Springfield to make the state in the pentathlon.
You're talking about the one that just graduated.
Yeah.
She was at my house the other day.
Was she really?
She was on the track team. My
Yeah.
husband helped coach track.
Yeah.
And she is a delightful young lady.
Yes.
Wonderful young lady.
Very
We had a
mature.
little cookout for them at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Miss Rain. She's adorable. She's just very talented.
She's a Kansas kid, came
Yeah.
here and just has
I'm so excited.
just a
you're doing a story on her.
mature outlook, and just
Yeah.
everybody I've talked to about her just can't say enough good about her.
I
mean,
love
just she's just got a great outlook on life.
Mm-hmm.
She's been reared by a family that, well, it's a farming family first and foremost that they were in Kansas, just salt of the earth people. And she is by several years the youngest of three. She got three brothers,
Okay.
and then she is
The princess.
by a long way the young one. So
Yeah.
she's had a lot of really sound guidance out through
Yeah.
her life, and her take on things is just, you're like, how is this girl only 17, 18, whatever age she
Yeah.
is? You look at some kids, not to be negative, but you look at them and you go, how in the world are you 16 or 17? Yeah. The way they act, but she's just,
Yeah.
her principal, Chris Tucker at Springfield, just couldn't. He said, I would not hesitate to get up and leave the office to go somewhere and have her run the office. He said, she's,
Yeah.
I have that kind of confidence in her, and that's just the kind of person she is.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm pulling together.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I just love it when you focus in on the young ones. I really do. I was honored that you wanted to write about us, but I love hearing these stories about the next generation coming along because it is good.
Well,
It is so good.
one story we just did too was on Faith. Is it Swabby?
I think.
Yeah. They're for me.
That's right. Young girl at Beach High School who was on their cross country team and developed scoliosis, and her determination and will and coming back from that. That was a story that one of our writers, Nick, just did, and that just came out I think this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one.
That's a good story. How she's battled back from that, and and is achieving things because of it.
Cool. I love that. Well, seeing you did the one on Dakota and Carmen, the Dakota Jones and he's working at TriStar with his mom.
Yeah.
And I know them because they came out and let me take Christmas pictures of them. And Dakota is a fabulous photographer. I mean, he taught me stuff.
Really?
I'm new. I'm a novice. I'm just learning. But and trying to build a photography business.
Yeah.
And he helped me so much. But his interest in he wanted it's kind of, he reminds me a lot of the students that I talk with that are interested in the things like audio, video. It's a very tough industry to make a living in, and you might, so I tell the kids, dream big. You could be the next, whatever, but you got to know which industries are really tough to pay your bills with. And so he ended up, he liked photography, so radiology was a perfect fit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 And I thought you wrote that story.
I did not. I did not write
Oh, I
that.
thought that was you.
Did. Yeah, Rachel did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was you.
Yeah.
I thought that was your story. That's why when you didn't recollect it, I was like, oh, I don't know. For some reason, I thought that was one of yours. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I edited it.
Yeah, he did. He edits everything.
and so it was so funny because, I knew you were coming. Well, there it says Rachel Allison on it right there. I just pulled it up. But when I knew you were working on the one for our family, I thought, well, I wonder what, when it's coming out. And I looked and I was like, oh, there's the Joneses. And so I was so excited to see that one. But there's so many fun stories like that.
Yes.
Our young football player that went to
Tennessee.
UT, yeah.
Nathan.
And Nathan. See, I don't know him. And so that's why I can't remember. I know they're like, LaVern, how can you forget his name? Well, I never really had it. I never had him in class or anything like that. So, but there's so many good stories. So many good stories out there.
And that's why, people watching, people listening, hello.
Yeah.
So if you've got positive stories,
Yeah.
we want them. We get leads sometimes, but we have to hunt a lot of stories too. But if you've got something in your head, hey, this would make a great story for Stay Positive News. We need to know about it.
For sure. And I'll be sending you some because it's fun.
Yay.
It's some fun stuff. I love it. I'm a writer. I would love to write some stuff for you guys eventually. Maybe I will. I'm just so crazy busy right now. But that's the thing. If you write, you can submit it. I'm a fiction writer. I like little short stories, and there's a place for that on here too. Isn't there? Let me do a break and let's come back and let's talk about that.
Sure.
Because in the same genre of Faith Friday, a lot of the stuff I have got a spiritual twist to it. So would that be welcome?
Yes.
Of course.
I knew the answer before I asked it,
Of
but
course.
I felt like I needed to at least ask the question. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about one of our sponsors. We're going to start with Cumberland Connect. I know as we started the show, I was listening to an ad for Cumberland Electric. And I appreciate so much their sponsorship of this radio station. We love you. We appreciate you so much. And my goodness, you're doing such a great work here in the community because now that the internet has replaced our phone lines, what better way to facilitate it and bring it to you than through the electric company? And they're doing a beautiful job. Robertson County, I think most everybody in Robertson County is connected and has the availability to be connected now with Cumberland Connect. But Cumberland Electric goes out into other counties, and so they're still working on getting everybody connected. If you want to know, are they in my neighborhood? The best way is to just go and click on the website, cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. If you put in your address, they will tell you, okay, we're in your neighborhood. We're already there. If you see that little coil of line on your utility post, that means they're probably already there and they're ready. You just need to call them and set up an appointment to have them connect your house. But if they're not in your neighborhood yet, they'll give you a projected date. You can also call them at 800-987-2362, 800-987-2362, and talk to them about the specifics there. Talk to a person. It's great. I was one of the very underserved. I had like a 3.5 internet streaming speed. It was horrible. And so I was a little over a year ago connected to Cumberland Connect, and it's been fabulous. Customer service is incredible. I'm wanting to put an extender in. Can't really sure. My husband and I are arguing about we're going to do a hard line or we're going to do one that's just, in the air. I'm hardline because we got 10 roofs on our outbuildings, and that hurts the internet signal. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So we're working on that, and they're advising us on that. Can't say enough about it. $80 gets me a gig, and I turned everything else off. Now I have my streaming services I get, but I don't have Dish Network. I don't subscribe to anything anymore. I just have my gig. And then it works. I'm doing photography. I do a lot of videography. I do a lot of stuff that requires a high-speed internet. I used to have to come up here and steal the internet from the radio station or from my church. That's what I have to do. I'd have to go use their internet to do anything, but no more. I now have a gig in my house, and it is wonderful, and you can be a part of the gig club, too. If you want to check it out, go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org, or again, you can give them a call at 800-987-2362, and please always let them know that sent you.
Yes, they are.
That's what I thought. I was pretty sure that Rachel had shared that with me. So very good.
Yes.
We love how they're working in our community. They're doing such a great job.
Shout out to my nephew, Logan Dean, a lineman with Cumberland Electric.
There you go. Oh, those guys. I'm telling you. You just have no idea. People who take care of us in storms and when the power goes out in the middle of the night and they're out, God bless y'all.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, God bless y'all. That's a lot. That's a
is.
lot.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I got to tell you something that Aaron Slate put up about you.
Aw,
Because
I love Aaron.
Sarah is one of the sweetest people ever! Exclamation point. You need to get her husband on for Faith Friday.
Ah,
What's that
yes.
about? What's that
So
about? Is
my
your husband a preacher?
He is.
Okay.
Yes.
What does he preach?
At Temple Baptist, he's the student pastor. So we've been there for over a decade now, working with teenagers through college. Yeah. So that's part of why I love the positive stories too about the younger generation, because they do get a bad rap. There's a whole lot of good ones out there, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot. So I would love if we
Absolutely.
assumed when we interacted with teenagers, if we assumed the positive rather than assuming the negative. I think
Amen.
it would change our interactions a lot. So yeah, we love it. We're feeling a little older now, Chris, but we love working with the young people.
I think that's wonderful. I love that. I love that, and I think I like these. Maybe you're not a teenager yourself working with the teenagers because they need that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about being in the classroom, and why I encourage others that maybe have had other careers. And I was going to go back to school to be an ELL teacher, and that's exactly what I wanted to do because I absolutely love newcomers, and I've got great relationships with a lot of immigrants, and just absolutely just love them. And I love their spirit, man. I mean, it's just like what our country was built on, Dad, blame it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I that's what I wanted to do. But then when they offered me a chance to not have to go back and completely get a master's, I was like, okay, that sounds like a better deal.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm 60 years old when I first started this venture, you know, or I was 59 when I first stepped into the classroom. But I just, I can't say enough about it because I think I'm very convinced they need our maturity. They need our experience.
Yes.
And not be like, what it was like when I was a kid. No, it's just like endure. Just endure.
Yes.
Yeah. It's there's
they
going to
want
be
it.
tough things.
Yeah.
But if you endure through it, oh my goodness, the beauty on the other side of it.
Yes.
You know, and two, talking about the people will I'll have kids that will come in and they're just obviously trying to go, I'm a bad person. They're just all dark, and man, if you just give them just a pinch of love, they just light up.
Yes.
Because there's something that brought that darkness on.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're saying, man,
Yes.
pay attention to me.
Yes.
I need you.
Yeah.
Pay attention to me.
School could be the light of their day.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know when they leave that school.
Yeah.
I've had Melissa say it many times. She's seen it sometimes in kids' eyes that they're kind of in dread when the school year ends.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Because summertime for them is not, it's not going to the beach. It's not. So.
Well, it's like I had. If you walk into my classroom, I got the coolest classroom in the county, y'all. It just is what it is. They gave me this big, vast room. It's almost the size of a sound stage.
Oh, wow.
But it's got computers. So I mean, we can't really sound stage it because it's got the computers and electronics in the center of it. But it's got that feel. And so all the way around, it was like an old shop. Is what it was. It was kind of a shop there in Greenbrier High School that they revamped into a computer lab. And then eventually came the audio video, and then their kind of storage closet became our studio. And so that's how we've revamped it. But around the room, we had this vast room, and I'm like, these big walls are just so, we need to do something. We put movie posters up all the way around.
Oh,
it's really cool. Yeah. And so one of the first things I do with my students when they come in is I say, okay, what was your summer like? Pick a movie that relates to your summer. And there's all kinds of movies to pick from. And inevitably, the one that got picked the most last year, because the first time I did it was last year, because I got the movie posters up in my second year. I mean, that first year I didn't have them, but inevitably, the one that got picked the most was Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Home Alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, Yeah. And I was just like, man, that don't,
That'll tug at you.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And then these are high school students.
Right.
High school students. And, but yeah, Home Alone. That just hit me, and kind of hit me right here too, because my youngest one's senior year was when I was working in Dallas and commuting back and forth.
Oh yeah, for Glenn.
And my husband was having health issues. Now he was there, but there were times I'm sure he felt very alone. You know? And so it was like, ooh, and I mean there's none of us that have that look back on our parenting days and go, we were perfect. We did it. Of course, if you did, get over yourself.
Yeah.
If you think that, get over yourself because you did not. Only by the grace of God did you not really mess up your kids. No, I'm kidding. But I'm teasing. But, you have to really look at it. And that's one thing. I've got one of my sons is just a brilliant counselor. He counsels with families and children in the foster system.
Oh.
In Jackson. He's just an absolute brilliant counselor. And he is doing kingdom work. I mean, he's just doing it. And he and he counsels me. And we'll talk about stuff going on with his siblings or something. And he says, something we've all got to remember to do is whenever we start thinking about something, we're like, I could do that better. He goes, there's nothing wrong with going down and sitting across from somebody that you think you could have done better with and saying, I'm really sorry. That didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
And just verbally saying, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He goes, people don't understand the weight of humility and just saying, I'm sorry, man. I wish we'd have done that better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's start over.
Yeah.
And you can do that with your
Releases
kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. Because I have a lot of regrets for things that went down with my youngest. Now we have a great relationship, but they're, being away his senior year, we didn't really have any choice because my husband was on it was another. So I don't think we could have done it any other way.
Yeah.
But man, maybe he just needs he's like, Mom, quit talking about me on the radio. but there's something to be said for that. Just sitting down going, man, I'm so sorry that didn't go the way it should have, and just being honest. But anyway, I don't know how I got down that rabbit hole. Y'all have to rear me back in.
Hey, no.
So we were talking about before I did the break, we were talking about the aspect of where we can put in some fiction stories, short stories.
Yes.
So talk to me about that. Have you had many submittals on that, or just a few? I think you've had just a few on that, but it's got potential.
It does.
It really
does.
does.
And really, when you visit staypositive.news, you'll see a category written by our readers.
Okay.
And that is the category we're talking about. And then you can submit a story. There's a button somewhere on there that you can submit a story, and it comes to us, and then we review it. And it's a wonderful way, especially if you love writing. If you want to have that outlet, it's a great way to do that. And we appreciate it. We want more voices in the...
Yeah.
Well, see, I've got a story, actually, I'm going to submit to you guys for Memorial Day next year that I share every year that's about, here locally, we had Springfield Drugs for years.
Oh, yeah.
Donna Hagen's brother, Terry Smith, is a bona fide Vietnam War hero. Bona fide. I mean, he was a radio operator, and they would have this whenever they would come in to evacuate or bring men in or something like that, and they could hear the firing of the weapon that was going to take it out. And so they'd say, we just heard, don't land, go away. They'd warn them off.
Oh.
And so it was that click that they could hear, and they'd warn them off. And that's how they brought people in and out and evacuated and all this. And so Terry was responsible for the radio. There was a chopper coming in loaded with men, and he heard it. They heard it, and they're like, there's one incoming, warn them off. The radio went out, would not. So he runs out on the hill, flags them off. No, he dies. There's a gymnasium named for him in Washington.
Really?
Fabulous story. It's a breathtaking story. And I'll send that to you guys because, I put it up on my webpage and everything. I've wrote it several years ago because Donna and John are just great friends of mine. But I lost a friend in Vietnam, our hired hand. That had been around since I was a little kid, and so I've got a heart for Vietnam veterans.
Sure.
They just have my heart, and so when I heard her story, I'm like, wow, and so but I'll send y'all that. So
That'd be awesome.
yeah, because
thank you.
that's something I'd love for y'all to consider sharing, and I think you would like it. But there's all kinds of little stories like that out there, and so if you're a writer, send them something, and it gives you some exposure to your craft.
Yep.
And what you do.
You can share it. You can like it. You can tell the world about it.
That's right.
Yep. There you go. So I love this. But well, let's go ahead and do another break, and then we'll kind of reset and come back. Y'all think about what you want to share and what you want to really take. What is specifically are you going to focus on with this new title? Because you've been contributing writer. So now with your new job, what specifically does that mean, and how are you going to incorporate that into maybe what you're doing.
Okay.
Maybe let's look at that.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about some folks y'all know, Barry and Rebecca
Oh,
Richards
yeah.
with Exit Prime Realty. Somebody you wrote a story about.
I'm probably going to see him later today.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's let's go down a rabbit hole. In Cross Plains today, there is the Trash and Treasures, and it's today and tomorrow. And I'm going because I want to hear my friend Bethany tease, and I want to hear Dr. Eric Wilson and his family and all of them. They're singing on the church porch.
Oh, Bethany's singing. Okay.
Yeah. They're doing a music thing starting I think at 9, and they'll go till about noon. And so they bring some music today and tomorrow. And I think Barry has and one of our teachers too, and one of our principals, what am I saying? Mr. Staggs is going to be playing bass. So we're going to have some Greenbrier folks represented on the...
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. But we've got, of course, Barry and Rebecca, they will have a booth. So we'll just kind of tie this into their ad. If you want to go and physically talk to them today, they're going to have a booth set up at Trash and Treasures at Cross Plains, and that's today and tomorrow. And you can just sit down across the table from them and say, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe you don't really know what you want to do. You're thinking about selling. You're thinking about buying. When's a good time?" I had one of my sons in Alabama. My youngest down in Alabama just got engaged. And they were asking us just a couple of weeks ago, isn't now a bad time to buy a house because of the interest rates? And we're all, no. And mainly because I know the Richardses, and they're like, it's never a bad time to invest. You can always refinance it later. Yeah. So they've put in they're buying a house down in Alabama. But when you need to talk to somebody that just knows the ins and outs of, maybe you're older and you're thinking, is it time to downsize? Could be. And Barry and Rebecca, I heard them I was sitting and talking to them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. And I didn't know who they were talking about, but they were talking about, they have decided now's the time to downsize. It was an older couple. And they're experts at that. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. So she can help you with that. Barry comes out of a marketing background. For 17 years, he was a vice president of a media marketing company. He can talk to you about bees too, by the way. All the things. They're fun. But he has a brokerage office here in Springfield on the square. She has an agency office that she works out of in White House. They combined those two and brought you a new branch in the Exit Prime Realty. And again, go down and talk to them in Cross Plains today or tomorrow, or you can just give them a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, and always let them know that you took it. I saw the article that you did on him. I was impressed. My goodness, that was good.
Yeah, I missed the photo part. I missed my Canon. I had a nice
You don't
Nikon D800. And
do you not do photography anymore?
Not much, no, not much. I want to get back up in it. I just got to invest in the equipment to do it.
Yeah,
I had that provided to me. All my camera equipment when I worked for Tennessee Farmers Co-op was that was company equipment. It just I got to use it, and there was good stuff. So
yeah, see, and I've got some decent stuff, but I've got to invest in some more before I can really call myself a photographer. I mean, I'm a photographer, and I do some freelance stuff, but I mostly just take pictures of my friends' kids. Right now until I can really call myself a professional. But,
I love doing it when I have the time, and
I do too.
We used to take time sometimes, not a lot, but when we could at Tennessee Farmers, some of us that were photojournalists, you just go out and take a day, and it might be fall when the leaves are turning or something, and just drive around and get some good cool shots.
Did you ever get a good one of a smoking barn?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got smoking barn pictures that I've gone looking for. They're fun. But, it's fun stuff. Well, I asked Sarah a question. So your new title, how is that? What are you going to focus on? What is the focus?
So as creative director, I get to really be the mediator between the news stories that we get in and the writers. So in other words, I assign the stories to writers, and then I also, go about putting everything out there on the website, right? All of that. I collect photos. So that's another thought. If anybody loves taking pictures and you go to an event in the community and you want to submit them, absolutely email me because, I can't be everywhere. So it's awesome. And we want to represent truly the community. And then I do work with our sponsors as well to make sure they have some of them. We have articles that we include every month for them as part of a thank you for sponsoring us, because it does, cost money to be present, right? Cost money. And so I get to work with them as well. And really, really what we want more and more people aware of Stay Positive News, right? We want that to grow. And I think, I don't know if this is answering your question, but I'm going to share this little piece.
Sure.
Real quick. So I have a friend who talks about doing a consumption audit, like what you consume, paying attention to what you're consuming, and then how do you feel after that, right? So when we're scrolling on social media, how do we feel after that? And it really kind of helps okay, is what I'm taking in, because we're all taking in messages constantly. Our brains don't have time to process them all, and so it stores it in the subconscious, right, LaVern? And that's what you're talking about when that switch gets flipped. When we choose to focus on the positive and we really filter what comes in, we notice that in how we feel, and that impacts our actions, right? Impacts our community. And so really that's the message we want to get across. And again, just being that voice for the community. So we want to know about what's going on.
I love it. That's great. I love it. And I just, and you're part-time or are you full-time?
Yeah. I mean, like 20 hours a week. So I do this. And then I'm also, I work with Mary Kay as well. So they work well together because I get to minister to women that way. And then I get to be involved in the community. I love it. Positive too.
So are you, as far as, how many writers do you have right now that you would consider
like on
writers that, staff writers?
So we have 4.
Okay.
And so we rotate through the 4.
Okay.
Right now. And then of course, written by our reader segments would be factored in there.
Okay. So if the written by a reader, do you compensate them for those stories?
Not for those stories.
Okay.
Yeah. Not for those. It would be if they're writing an article, on our behalf.
Have been assigned.
Been assigned.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense. Because from our readers and stuff, just like I've had things published where I've submitted, and just the submittal is the payment because it's exposure for my article.
Right.
It's publicity and things like that. So that's usually payment for that kind of thing. But that's wonderful. And I mean, and it's growing, guys. It's growing. They just had their first birthday.
I know.
And I'm very excited because I mean, it is just one of those things that we all need more of it in our life. Yeah. And if you're not intentional about it, I'm telling you, talk about that consumption. And it's the same thing with the stuff you put in your body. Yeah. You want to feel bad. Eat bad food.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But you don't feel good. You know what you're putting in your body, and it doesn't make you feel good. That's one thing. Jamie Nixon, good land. The weight loss he's had and stuff. Woo! I'm telling you. Have y'all done a story on him?
I think.
You need to.
I mean, we've done stuff on Jamie before.
Yeah,
because I mean, but that transformation was breathtaking because he literally he was in here one day and he goes, man, I just got to do something different. He's getting, he was getting older and he's like, I want to be healthy. Yeah. And I mean, the next time I saw him, he was like half, and I mean, it took 20 years off of him, number one. Yeah. And fit and just it truly is an example of you are what you feed yourself and the exercise and all that. I mean, and within 6 months, I think it was a short amount of time because he just fully committed to it and he just did it. I was so impressed. It was very inspiring. And he's
been very motivating to people. I mean, he truly wants to help people. Yeah. On the journey he's on. I mean, he invites people all the time to the gym, and he'll, free 3-month membership, on him, and it's been motivating for me. I'm 30 plus pounds down now.
Good job, outstanding! Congratulations. Yeah. That's wonderful.
And he's been a big motivator on that. Just I'm not going to the gym necessarily, but every day I exercise every day and have totally changed my lifestyle, and
that's great.
So it was that or it wasn't going to be a Stay Positive.
Right.
Well, and here's the thing, coming back around to Faith Friday, guys, our physical ability can affect our spiritual ability so much, because if you're not where you feel like you need to be or where you feel good physically, it will keep you from being productive in the purpose that God has for you. Yeah. And it's just, it holds you back.
Yep.
And I can speak to that because I've struggled with my weight for my whole life. And I'm kind of just embarked on a new, now that I've got my one knee replaced, getting ready to get the other one done, I'm like, okay, this is it. And by Christmas, I want to be, completely rocking it to where if I wanted to, I could run. I'm not going to because that's what destroyed my joints in the first place. But, anyway, but I could now because I have titanium ones or whatever they're made out of,
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So what else you want to talk about, guys? We got about 8 minutes. I still have one ad to do, but what else we want to talk about?
Oh, wow.
Chris, anything you want to share?
Well, I mean, yeah, I hope folks will go up to Cross Plains today to
Yes.
Trash and Treasures.
What kind of thing can we expect up there? Have you been there before? Is
Yes.
this new
Oh,
for you?
yeah.
What's the
It's
feel?
it's just a community. I think it's the community of Cross Plains pulling together, and there's the music aspect of it you talked about. There's some good food there. I mean, good food vendors around there that
Yeah.
you can eat your
Food
lunch up
trucks
there.
and all that.
Go in the drugstore and get
Thomas
you
Drugs.
get you a nice shake or a malt and then they have different. There's a wide variety of stuff too. I mean, you could, if you're looking for a garden gnome, would say, hey,
Gotcha.
they got you. You're looking for, thrift clothes. They've got that. It's just a little something for
Knick-knack,
everybody up there, and
Yeah.
and the people you meet,
yeah.
just salt of the
That's
earth.
the best part, yeah.
Just I love Cross Plains.
It's a nice, you're a cross-planians, boy. They are.
White House is my home, but Cross Plains is where that's where my family roots are, and I love White House too. That's another thing. Americana Festival coming up in White House on the
What day is
next
y'all's?
week.
Do you know? I think it's like it's a week
Next
from
Saturday is
It's a
the
week from
Americana
Saturday.
Festival. Yeah.
And then the one here, of course, is on July 3rd, which is Wednesday night. And they're going to have all the things going on there. And so that'll be.
And where is that gonna be?
It's going to be fairgrounds.
Okay.
And it's all free if you come out. I mean, they've got rides. Now, if you got to buy your own food, of course. But the music's free. Everything's free. There'll be free parking. Now, there'll be some people that you can pay to, that are around the area that you can pay to park. I'm not sure about the parking lot right across the street. More than likely, that's a paid parking. But the parking right there at the fairgrounds, they will have some aspect of free parking. You can park along the road, just like the fair. And they'll have kids rides that are free. All the music's free. Fireworks are free. And that's on July 3rd. So there you go.
Yeah.
So all kinds of fun stuff, guys, going on
Yes.
with the 4th of July, with our celebrating our independence.
Yep.
Fun stuff. So that was something I was going to ask you, and I completely slipped my mind for a second. Maybe it'll come to me. But just story. I have so many story ideas for y'all.
I know.
So many. So I've got some I'll submit to you. Well, just the stories about when you were talking about the kiddos that, let me show you what I can do. And the kids that I've met, just like I was mentioning, our Principal Staggs, he had one of our special needs kids that came up and sang Wagon Wheel with him at a talent show, or it was the arts festival, I guess we had at the end of the year. It was fabulous. I've got it on video. It was wonderful. But that's those kinds of things. It's just one of those, one of those stories that you just absolutely love. And then just different students that I've met. John Cohey, I don't know if you know him. He is somebody that sings and just does all kinds of wonderful things. He has cerebral palsy, but he is just fabulous and just doing so much. He's been on the radio with me a few times.
Oh yeah.
And he's just a wonderful, spirited guy to talk to too. He would be a fun story to do. But anyway, so I've got all kinds of ideas for y'all. I bet y'all do too. But bringing that positivity into our life, that's a key to keeping our spirit where it needs to be. Turn off the poison, guys. Turn on the positive.
Another positive. I mean, just to me, Robertson County is a ray of positive. In some,
Yes.
I mean, we are fortunate to live where we do.
Yes.
I mean, it's the people, the culture, I mean, it's a special place, and that makes it, to me, easy to stay positive too, because although they're diverse and different, Ridgetop is different than Greenbrier, is different than Springfield, is different than Adams, Cedar Hill, Cross Plains, Orland. They all each have their own unique little niche.
Yeah.
And then you go to Sumner, and you got Hendersonville and Gallatin and Portland and White House, and it's just such a diverse mix, and so many good people in all those places.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And they're just, again, everything that you need right here in Robertson County. And Sumner, are you in Hendersonville? Yeah.
I'm in Cottontown, Tennessee.
Oh,
so
there
I'm
you go.
like
Cottontown,
close to
yes.
On the
Junction
edge,
25,
on
yeah.
the edge. So, but we are so blessed. We are so blessed to live where we do, and I cannot say enough about it. I do need one more sponsor to go, and this is another great story. The old Highland Rim Speedway. If y'all have ever done anything about the Highland Rim Speedway, which is now Veterans Motorplex. Jerry bought it and turned it into this beautiful family-friendly Veterans Motorplex. It is just a place full of just a sweet, sweet spirit. He's a believer. He's on his banner. It says Jesus is Lord, Veteran Motorplex. And you have to follow them. You have to go to Highland Rim Speedway because they kept the old page simply because they already had a ton of followers there. Why would you change that? But they did change the banner, and they changed a lot of policies out there. It is a family-friendly environment. They do not sell alcohol nor allow it, so you don't have to worry about that if you bring your kids out. $40 ticket will get you up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for $40. This weekend is a special fundraiser for Down syndrome. He does this every year. He does a special weekend for that. And one of the things that they're doing is they're going to have a Dunkin' booth. And so that's going to be to specifically raise money for the foundation. And they're having a little contest about who's going to get dunked the most. Yeah. And so the ones that are getting in the booth, and some of the racers that Charlie Briley, Colton McDonald, Hot Rod or Tech Man, Butch Care, and they're like, they're like, I'm gonna, so it's a little bit of a contest going on. So go out there and support the research into Down syndrome and the work that's being done, and support a wonderful venue here in Robertson County. Really one of the best kept secrets. Highland Rim has been around historically for a long, long time. Mayor Vogel was talking about going when he was a young man, and talking about some of the folks that have raced, legendary race car drivers that have been on that track. It's awesome time. Up in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, Saturdays when they race through October. They may, bleed over into November depending on the weather. We had a late start. They typically run March to October. They were doing a bunch of renovation out there. So they had about a 6 weeks late start on their racing, but they're in full swing out there now. And as long as the weather's permitting, that's the reason you need to follow them at Highland Rim, is because if the weather is adverse and like, hey, we got to cancel tonight because it's raining, they'll let you know at the Highland Rim Speedway site. But follow them at Highland Rim Speedway, but go out and visit Veterans Motorplex any Saturday between now and the end of October. And when you do, let them know. What else? We're about to need to say goodbye, I guess, guys. We just got a minute or two. Any parting thoughts?
Gosh, it flies.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you just for having us on, and thank you to everyone who does follow us and share our stories. Thank you for that. And thank you to those that let us spotlight your stories too. We always consider it an honor. So,
well, it's such an honor to be considered for that. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had, when y'all did our little story, I heard from people from the Blaze and that I haven't talked to in years, and
really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. And I heard just from old radio friends in town. Yeah. Good. Well, and there was a picture you put up. I don't know if you realize that picture from Action Auction. That was Phil Valentine.
Yeah, I knew Phil.
And Les Jameson, who was like big talk
show
British.
Les.
That was Les up in the top.
Okay.
Then myself, and then Terry Hopkins. Terry Hopkins and Phil Valentine did the morning show together. So I should have given you the names. But it was Phil Valentine, Terry Hopkins, Les Jameson, myself, and I forget the girl that was in there is one of our news people at the time, and I can't remember her name. She was only there for a brief time, and then the other lady was an Action Auction rep.
Huh.
But yeah, that was Les Jameson in there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's legendary.
Yes, he was.
Talk show host from England. He was British, but he was an awesome guy.
He was.
Yeah, Phil. Anyway, we appreciate y'all covering
Absolutely.
that. Thank y'all for all you do. So nice to meet
thank you. Wonderful to meet you.
And just the doors open anytime. I think we're gonna try to do a reoccurring thing on the fourth Friday. Is that kind of the thing? But we talked about that. Now I will be, just listen up, for the record, I'll be in Mexico fourth Friday in July. So we won't be able to do that one, but we'll kick it back up in August.
We couldn't we couldn't do a live remote.
No, I mean we probably could, because when I'm in Mexico, I listen to WSGI. because it is a worldwide Christian broadcast company through the internet. And so you can listen anywhere in the world. That's what's so cool about right here in little old Robertson County, guys. We got a worldwide Christian broadcast company. Ebenezer Broadcasting, what are y'all up to? It's pretty good. Y'all ought to check it out, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. Have a fabulous weekend. And if you haven't found a church, guys, find one this weekend. You will be blessed for it. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.